Wake up, wake up, wake up. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Brush Up. This is Kulit taking you on an online journey. As usual, I think today there's a newcomer. For some reason, I don't know whether she's here yet. But let me see. We'll go ahead anyway. She can catch up on the video later. We are going to do the usual, get our four colors on plate, and we're ready to start. I think all of you have got all your materials ready. We start in a minute. So what we need to do, the first thing we need to do is to establish what we're going to paint, and we're going to use this small brush. Okay. This painting is really simple in the sense that it's a landscape. All you got to do is just draw your horizon. That's always something that you got to do when you're doing landscape. Okay. And to establish the horizon right here, and then a kind of perspective so that you have a sense of depth. This is roughly what you're going to be doing. So essentially just to lay out your painting, and we will be starting your painting from the back as usual. From back, the furthest thing away from you is the sky. The sky isn't very visible, but we're going to consider that anyway. Then we're going to build up from the back to the front, and basically this is all the drawing that you need. The trees are something that you're going to put in later, but if you like, you may want to create some lines here to give you some kind of guide. Trees can be like that. It can be very thin later. Yeah, just these are just guidelines. Just remember that when you're painting with acrylic and thick paints, you do not spend time doing detail because whatever you draw is going to disappear when you paint over it. What you need to do is just give you a sense of roughly where everything is. Yeah. Okay. All right. I guess we should be able to have done this by now. Sip of coffee, and we are ready to start. All right. I'm going to be starting with today we're going to be using this middle-sized brush, because most of the time the colors are a little bit patchy, so we're going to do a lot of patch. I'm going to start with this area that's furthest away. I'm going to leave, this area has got the sky and all that, and so I'm going to leave the sky white for the time being. I'm going to start building up from back to front. The furthest color that you have here is actually a little bit of yellow. Maybe you would like to add a little bit of white so that it's not so too bright. Basically, it's somewhere here. We're going to start painting yellow base. Leave this area white, yeah? Leave this area white. There's a lot of trees overlapping it. The colors can blend in a bit, it's okay. It doesn't have to be perfectly clean. So the way you are going to be painting here today is actually just go in depth. Don't paint left to right. Okay? We are going to go dabbing using the whatever color you have. It can be yellow with a little bit of red that makes it orange. So what we're going to do is we're going to do all this dabbing first. So it can be yellow, okay, with a little bit of orange. And if you like, you can actually, at this point, just a little bit of color, yeah? You can add a bit of blue, so it becomes green. So the colors change, yeah? The colors change as you add different colors to the mix. Yes. What's that bell for?
Time now is 10:15.
Whoa, okay. Don't have to be every 15 minutes, maybe half an hour, I think is good. Just keep on with the painting. Okay, so the colors I'm using is actually, you realize that as I go along, I'm actually just mixing. When I want green, I just add a bit of yellow and blue, I get green. And the colors are changing as I go along. Okay, I got it. Okay, so now we got to move this guy down a bit. All right, we're still there. Okay, we are basically on the, we're still playing with yellow and red and whatever colors. And I just want to tell you, you got to just add little color at a time. Don't add mix too much color. We're changing the color as we go along. So basically, what I'm doing is I'm just creating a series of colors that are mixed. So it's red and yellow, so that this area is a little bit more red. Don't worry about the trees for the time being. Yeah? So what you're creating is actually a set of different colors on the left and on the right. Okay, I got this. Can you see what I'm doing? I cannot hear you. Viviana?
Hanshu Zavaraja said, I can't see the top. You have placed your camera too low.
Okay, okay. I'm gonna bring it down a bit. Okay, you can see the top, right? The top isn't that far. Okay. Thank you, Soundwave.
Should the paints be thick?
Okay. So it's actually we just playing with colors here. You are learning to actually just mix color as you go along. It's not the simple flat color all the way. So you as you go along, you can change your color. So when you add yellow to red, it becomes orange like what I'm doing now there on the right hand side. Okay, but you don't want it to be totally yellow and red, so you can add a little bit of blue. Yep. So that it becomes a bit darker. See this? Okay. So it's just a matter of actually playing with your colors. So you can see certain areas are more red, certain areas are more yellow. But it's okay at the moment. And I'm concentrating on the right hand side at the moment. So we can add a lot of yellow and red, and you get orange when you mix that. So you don't really mix one single color. Yeah, at this moment you are mixing colors as you go. It doesn't have to be exactly the same. Just so you know. What I'm doing is every little patches here, they are slightly different in terms of composition or color. I'm adding a bit more blue towards the right hand side right now. Okay. So that is a bit darker. Let me see if I can move the canvas a bit more to the left. Okay, so you can see the whole canvas. This side, I'm just on the right hand side, I'm making it a little bit darker by adding some blue to the red and yellow. So in a sense, what you are doing is you are not mixing color in your palette so much as you are actually mixing color on your canvas as you go along. So we're still going on the basis of from the back far away to the foreground, yeah, at the moment. So what we are doing, just building what they call broad strokes. Main colors are going to be in, but we're dabbing it all the way. This is an interesting way to actually get a variation of color. we can go back to the right hand side later, but what I'm doing now is I'm going to go towards the left. Yeah, I can start off with the same thing. Actually, yellow and red. Yellow and red will give me orange, and it doesn't have to be the same color all the way. I'll add some yellow here. So as you go along, you realize that your mixture of colors can be changing all the time. It's like more yellow, less red, and this side is more red, less yellow. Let's see. Can see? Okay, I'm going to this area now, yeah, on the top right hand corner. This area. Top right hand corner, I'm going to add a bit more blue. Blue to the yellow and the red, so that it's not so primary color. When you add three colors together, you can see the nature of the color changes. It's a little bit more blue. Okay, you can see that I'm tilting the canvas so you can see. Yep. For the newcomers like Ivy and Jolene, we in this workshop, what we are also trying to do is to let you learn about color mixing, because I know most of the time when you buy from the shops, your range of color is like you got every color that you want. You have brown, you have blue, you have green, you have everything. But here, with this four color, you are learning how to mix. And yellow and blue gives you green, all right? But you add a little bit of yellow, it gives you a little bit of slightly different green. See? So we are creating depth at the moment. And this area here is a little bit warmer. That means basically it's more orangey and gray. We are playing with colors really at the moment. So I'm going to add a bit of red. And the other thing I forgot to mention at the beginning is that for Ivy and Jolene, yeah, please remember, don't use water at the moment because your paints are quite thick. And this is not watercolor. So if you use too much water, it ends up like watercolor. It takes a long time to dry. And it changes the character of your painting. For the time being, this is what we are doing. We're just laying down base color. We use the color as it is from the tube, but we mix, yeah. Okay, so we got some kind of base color going. And is everybody still okay? Let me just tilt the painting a bit. Yeah. There you go. I'll try and readjust my camera a bit. Okay, there we go. So you should have one line of colors right here that becomes a bit more yellow in the center. I'm going to add a bit more yellow here. Okay. So you have a lot of colorful leaves here. There's a that presumably is a sky right here. All right. And soon, in a short while, we can actually move down to the foreground. We will look at detailing later, but basically at this point in time, we just wanted to get this part done. Is everyone comfortable so far? Okay, let me see if I can fix my phone a bit. Yeah? It's a bit odd this way. Hang on. Just give me a minute. Does it work? It doesn't work. Oh, hey. Oh. Ah, I think it's better now. Oh, phone is back to normal. Gee. Hang on. Sometimes the phone is a bit odd. Okay. So we got this. Okay. All right. So the phone is a little bit better off now. Okay, so now we got the whole canvas. But I'm trying to match it with what I have up there. Just give me a minute. Yeah. Okay. Can you guys see this clearly? Okay. Okay, I got most of it. Is everybody okay with this right now?
Yes, okay.
Yeah, all right, yeah, okay. So we have basically got the background done for the time being, yeah. We'll be adding in more detail later. Okay, so what we have done so far is actually create a lighter shade in the center, lighter as in not so much blue. This, hey, hang on, I think the phone is not recording for some reason, hang on. What happened? Hang
Time
on.
now is 10:30.
30, all right.
Please take photographs of.
Take photographs of your work. Okay, there we go. Okay, we are back. Okay. All right. Here we go. So we got everything here. Okay, at least it's working. We got this. So what you have here is actually a slightly lighter area. And as you move from the center towards the sides, it gets a little bit darker by adding a bit more blue. Blue and red creates a slightly darker tone, yeah, right? So what I'm going to be doing is, you notice this area, I can actually still make it a little bit darker on the left, yeah. Let's do that now. The way to make areas like this darker is actually just to add in yellow and blue. Becomes a bit of a purplish thing, but a lot more blue. What I wanted to do is just make these areas a little bit darker. See? I'm painting over the whatever colors I had earlier without covering everything. Yeah, it's just to give it a sense of maybe depth. See? I'm just making a little bit darker by painting in that. Let me tilt the canvas a bit. Yep, you can see that. And the same thing applies for this area as well. I just want to make the background a little bit darker on the right hand side. This is before we start adding in trees later. So it's basically red and blue. It's actually quite purplish. Yeah, but that helps to make it a bit darker. So basically, I'm just dabbing. So don't cover the whole area, you know, just go dabbing. Lot of empty space in between is okay. So what we're doing, just adding in dab. Hey, here we go. So we have okay. So we got this part done. Okay, we can actually bring down the colors to this area. They're slightly below the horizon area. Okay, I'm going to work on this place on the right, and then after that we go to the left. Let's continue the downward trend here. I'm just going to add maybe a bit more yellow. Yellow and a little bit of red. So you also have to realize that you don't mix the color on your palette. Yeah, you just add color. Sometimes it's good to have something that looks very bright, direct from the paint here, but you need to mix it on the canvas itself. I'm just going to play the colors. So I have some dark colors. You're going to end up with something that looks similar but can be very different. It depends on the proportion of the paints that you put. Okay, I'm going to start off. You see this triangular area? I'm going to make it maybe a bit yellowish at the tip here, but become a little bit more reddish on the right hand side. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to just do this. I'm going to add some red here. So at the end of the day, you're going to get a lot of colors. And so far, whatever we've done so far, you realize that I've not even washed my brush once. It's okay to have remnants of the previous color as you paint, yeah, because ultimately all the colors will be mixing with each other, only in different proportions. So now I'm working on this triangular strip here. So I'm going to use yellow, sometimes just to highlight. And as I go towards this bottom part here, this triangle, I'm going to make it a little bit darker. And to do that, I'm using red and blue. Okay, that makes it a little bit. See this? It's almost brown, actually blue, red, and a little bit of yellow. There was a little bit of yellow earlier on. Can see this? Let me see. Okay. So I have this triangle on the right. Now I got to move to this triangle on the left. This area, yeah. All right. We can actually start off by you already have some colors suggestions of red and all that. There's a big bush here. Okay. So what we're going to do with this area is before we do the bush, we have to fill up this triangle again on the left. All right. On the left, what is happening is we're going to make the background here a little bit darker. We do that by adding blue and red over here. It looks quite dark. Okay, good. So there is a bush here, but before we do the bush, we just paint in the backdrop. Okay, I can make this area a bit darker here. No? Yep. So the idea is we are going to create a path here that is eventually going to be filled up by all these bushes. In effect, what you have on the right and what you have on the left is almost the same, except you have trees on the right, and this side you have also trees, but smaller trees, but you have bushes on the left. So we're going to do all the background first. I'm going to leave this area white for the time being. That will be for the bush, just to suggest the shape of the bush. Okay, I'm going to paint this area a bit dark. I'm going to leave these two bushes until the last. Yeah, I'm going to do this little triangle first. All right, we're going to do this. So you got this triangle. I'm using blue and red to create something purplish. It has a tinge of yellow at the moment. It's okay. All right, now what you have here is you have this pathway. At the end of the day, this doesn't have to be a straight line. You know, this one is just to give you an idea of the perspective, because this, in a sense, is actually perspective of the path that goes from big yeah to small. All right, but we're going to use colors to suggest depth after this. Okay, so we have already done the triangle on the left. We have done the triangle on the right, and we have a general feel of how things are going to be. All right. So now let's work a little bit on this pathway here. All right. Now the pathway itself is actually kind of flat, but because you have trees and shadows and all that running left to right, the approach that we're going to take for this area is a little bit different from the way we were painting the background just now, because this piece of road that you're looking at is actually is kind of flat. So to suggest that flatness, what we're going to do is we're going to have our painting strokes, yeah, left to right. All right, let's do it now. Based on the reference that you have, you're going to have some bluish color here. This blue may be a little bit too bright. Yeah. So what we're going to do, we're going to add a bit of white. So there is maybe bluish, light blue. Let's do it first, yeah. And your strokes, yeah, for here is actually left to right. You can overlap the edges a bit. It's okay. Okay, this is slightly blue, but your brush stroke is left to right, yeah. You can leave some white for the time being if you want. And it's interesting because these are basically colors that you get when you go into the forest in let's say autumn. You get lots of this kind of color. And when you're painting it, it's even more fun because you can change colors at your fancy. Okay, I'm slowly taking it down, and as you come down here, it changes warm color. Quite an interesting way to build depth. When you're doing colors, one of the ways that people use to make depth, yeah, create depth, a sense of depth, is when they have warm color in the foreground, and as they go far away, it gets a bit colder. That's what they do. They are doing here, right? Okay, I'm just going to play with yellow and red here, but the strokes are going to be left to right. I'm going to add in some yellow. See? So these are horizontal strokes, yeah? You can go left to right. Okay, there's a bit of blue here at the moment, but it's okay. I'm going to add a bit of red so that it becomes a bit reddish. And a lot more red as you go down towards the right. You notice I leave some of the colors, some areas a bit white. I'm going to go over with maybe yellow of this. But for now, I'm going to just build in the dark colors first. Dark color as in blue, red. And if I want it darker, I just add blue. So it becomes a bit purplish. See? This would also constitute a bit of a shadow, dark areas versus bright area. At the moment, it looks quite odd simply because of the white. Yeah, we're gonna fill that up with maybe some yellow color upwards. So what we have here is very warm color here, reddish or orangey blue. No, orangey yellow. Okay, I'm just gonna fill up this whole area. So it's actually quite quickly. We've done quite a fair bit here. I cannot hear you. Is that Paru? I cannot hear you. What did you say?
No, it's not me.
Oh, I don't. Somebody said something. If you have questions, you can ask. You know, because you can ask with the mic. If you write something, I cannot see. I cannot see. Okay, here we go. Okay, now I put in all the darker colors. I'm going to just add in a bit of lighter shade here so that you got. You see what happened is when you leave it white and you paint in yellow, it's the yellow still mixes with the with the background color, but there's actually a touch of a very nice pure yellow because your paints are still wet, so you can actually do that. Yeah, see, I got something like this, so it's actually pretty nice. And also bear in mind at this point, this particular piece of painting is not really a realistic representation of a scene. It's just a very stylized, colorful interpretation of what the artist sees. So it's actually a very good good piece to exercise your play on colors. So we have all this road that is flat and your strokes are left to right. But you still get a sense of because of the earlier space that we had, which is actually triangular, it gives you a sense of things receding into the distance. Okay, we will work a little bit more on the road and a little bit more on the background before we do the trees later. Yeah. At the moment, this should be what we have.
Oh, it's coming alive.
Slowly, you're gonna get there. Yeah, you're gonna get there. So it's actually how you use colors to your advantage. Okay? At the moment, you also realize that you have not done any detailing at the moment. So what you have done is basically set the basis for what's gonna come after this. Let's get the background done a little bit more detail first. Okay, now that we have all this done, I want to actually add a little bit more shadows so that when you start adding highlights, yeah, it's gonna be good. Shadows I can actually get from just adding red and blue. There's already a bit of yellow in my brush from earlier on. So what is going to happen is I'm going to just establish certain areas a little bit darker. That is under the bush here. There's well, I'm going to treat this like a shadow. It looks, yep. When you add shadows like this, it's going to help you enhance your highlights later on. You haven't added highlights yet. So what I'm doing is I'm just making this area a little bit darker. Again, your strokes are left to right. And see, it looks a lot darker now. We can start working on the bush if we want after this. But maybe the bush I'm going to leave it until later. Let's get all the trees in first. So generally speaking, this is what we have to do at the moment. And you also realize that when I do the shadow, it also breaks up that straight line, yeah, that we had earlier on. This is still considered a straight line, a little bit too straight. This line on the right, for instance, yeah. Just now it was the same thing on the left, but once I break up that straight line with maybe some shadows like this, it looks a little bit more natural. Now this area on the right at the moment is a little bit too straight to be natural, because don't forget, I think this is a natural. They call this the woods. The woods is when you just have a pathway that goes through the forest, and it is never straight like this, unless you are talking about what call it, tar road. Tar road is different. This is not tar road. This is basically a natural path. They left it open for people to walk, so it's not going to be, you won't get this straight line. So what I'm going to do next year, I'm just slowly going to just break up the straight line a bit. The straight line was there earlier simply because well, we are using it as a basis to guide us in our painting. In the natural environment, there won't be too many straight lines. So I'm just adding in shadows, dark areas, so that the bright areas are brighter. Slowly, it's coming along. Okay, I still want to make this part a bit darker on the left. So in paintings like this, there's actually a lot of to and fro, back and forth. Sometimes you look at it, you can still add in tones, you can still add in contrast. But like I say, you don't paint one flat color, you can paint on top of the existing colors. But don't cover everything. So it's still a lot of dabbing here on the forest area. I'm going to make this area a little bit darker. Lots of dabbing. I'm just suggesting shadows on the ground. All right. See? Okay, we're done pretty good. All right, I'm gonna be moving on to a slightly smaller brush after this. Is everybody okay so far?
Yes.
Okay, nobody screaming stop, 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 yeah? All right. Okay, I'm going to be using this smaller brush for now. Usually when you get to this smaller brush, it's just to add a little bit more detail to your drawing. So what I'm going to do, this area I'm working on right now, this part, yeah, the bluish part here is in my eyes a little bit too strong. The blue is a little bit too strong. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to, the base color is going to be like that. I'm going to just add a little bit of white to the blue, but not white, yeah, per se. It's a lighter blue. It's a lighter blue, and I'm just going to add highlights here. I don't know whether you can see it on the camera. I can see it, yeah. Okay, so it's actually just light touches left to right, just to make it a little bit brighter. So this can be highlights, it can be whatever you want it to be, but basically what it does is it helps to create maybe bright spots on the road. Because in the forest, even with the trees and shadows and all that, there's some areas that are brighter. So this is what I'm doing right now with this small brush. Okay, we got this. All right, I am also using this to break up that straight line on the right. See, when I add in things like this, yeah, it helps to break up that straight line. So now the straight line that you saw earlier on is not so obvious. Later on, once you put in the trees and all that, the straight line is going to disappear. So now is a time to actually add in hot spots here and there. I'm going to add a bit of maybe yellow here, just to have some nice, interesting colors. Oh, the yellow, I must tell you, when you add yellow, you have to maybe sometimes add a few times because the yellow is a lighter color. And quite often the background color will creep up again after a while. So you might have to go a few rounds. And when you're using small brush, sometimes because you don't have a lot of paint on your brush, when you paint, you might have to rotate your brush, yeah, because otherwise your paint will dry up. Yeah, I'm turning the brush. If you feel this a little bit too fast, don't worry. We have all this recorded, yeah. So it's gonna be it's gonna be replayed later on. You can replay it as many times as you want. I'm just adding in highlights in the background here. Because like in between the trees, yeah, in between the trees, because the sun is coming from the left, there will be highlights on the ground. So what we're doing is we're just adding in highlights somewhere in the background using this thin brush, and to give it a sense of the flatness, because this is not a hill, yeah? This is actually quite flat, but the trees are there. That's why. See? Now you can see this. These are probably flat ground at the back. So these are all your what I call the background work first before you add your trees. So in a sense, you can see there's a flat land here. This area there's also flat land, but because there's a lot of bushes, so you won't see it on the right, on the left. All right, I'm going to do after this. So it's getting quite interesting. This area, I'm going to just make it a little bit brighter by adding some bright yellow. Again, dabbing, yeah. So we have lots of colors all over the place, a lot of dabbing, and this is a smaller brush, so you can get smaller, more control. In a few minutes, we're going to start kind of drawing in the trees, yeah. But before that, let's work out this. Add in a little bit more tone to here. You have orange, a lot of yellow. And I'm also mixing a little bit of blue so that I get greenish colors. So it all depends on your proportion of blue and yellow. Okay, I'm adding a bit of green here. Okay. So this is a time when you can actually add in nice little highlights here and there before you add in the trees. All right. We are ready to move on to the trees in a minute. Where's my cover? Yes. All right. Okay, when you, let's say we basically have this whole area kind of done up. All right, we can actually move on to the trees. I'm going to add a little bit more blue. Okay. Okay, everyone ready to move on to the trees?
Yes.
Silence means consent. So we are ready to move. Okay, now what to do with the trees?
Time now is 11 a.m.
Oh, okay, that's nice. You got an hour to do this, which is actually a lot of time. I hope all of you are enjoying yourself so far.
Yes, we are.
I'm dragging you along. High-speed painting. Yeah, but it's interesting because, like I said, we are not going to waste, or not waste, I mean, we are not going to spend too much time on detailing at the moment, but here is where we start. Yeah, you would have already got this. Okay, I just want to tell you a little bit about the trees. Yeah, just bear in mind that in terms of they call it perspective. Yeah, in terms of perspective, things that are far away tends to be smaller, and as they come towards the foreground, like here, they will be a bit bigger. And consequently, before we actually start doing it, yeah, I just want you to actually have a look at what I do first. I'm going to just for the time being, I'm going to change the brush to something like maybe about this. Okay, this one you may have to use a little bit of water to help you. All right, the trees are basically I'm going to use a grayish color for the time being. Yeah. Let's say gray. How do you get gray? You get gray by mixing blue, yellow. You get purplish. Okay. That's okay. We don't have exact gray, so it's like blue and red. So it looks very dark. Okay. It looks very dark. Let me see. Should I paint this first and then hide? There are two ways to do this. Yeah. One is to actually use a dark paint. which is actually quite ideal, but I need to make it a little bit thinner. I added a little bit of water. Now, I need you, yeah, I need all of you to just observe for a minute, yeah. I'm going to use this brush. So this brush is one of those brushes that can be, if you press too hard, it becomes very, very thick. If you go in a little bit more control, it can be very thin, yeah? But you need to add a bit of water though, not too much, okay? I'm going to just show you how I do it. I'm going to add a bit more water, so this is a little bit running. This brush can be quite thick, yeah? Let me see. Okay, I'm going to hold the brush and I'm going to go very slowly, yeah? Just watch this, yeah? And the trees are going to be very simple. I'm going to keep it just a straight line, okay? And I'm going to make it very thin at the moment because these are, when you're doing trees at the background, you can actually go quite thin by, don't press too hard. Okay, most of the trees are basically, because this scene is quite, what is the word, temperate climate. Most of the trees are actually quite straight up. And you don't have to draw all the way continuously. You can break it up. So the trees here are very much thinner. Let's see what happens when you do it, yeah. And as you come to the go towards the right, when you paint this, it's also important, yeah. You have to rotate your brush. Otherwise, it dries off. Then it dries off. But it's okay. You still can go back again. So the moment I add in trees, you get a sense of there is a vertical they call it vertical interface, something that is vertical. Watch, yeah. I'm just adding. Okay, in the foreground here, this one is a slightly thicker tree. I can make this thicker by pressing it down. So this is just to give it a sense of perspective. You may have to go 2 rounds, 3 rounds. Try this. But basically, these are actually just straight lines, but it doesn't have to be ruler straight. Don't use ruler. You can freehand it. It's okay. Oh, this one is a bit thick, but it's okay. I mean, but try and do it so that the top area is thinner than the bottom area. This one is a bit too thick, too thin at the bottom. So I'm just going to make it a bit thicker. This is how trees usually are, thick at the bottom. As you go up, it becomes thinner. So don't make the top part too thick, yeah. So as you come here, you notice we are actually sticking to this line on the road, yeah. You don't plant your tree from this side. You have to stick it behind this line, yeah. I'm going to have another tree here. Maybe it's a bit too much water right now, yeah. So basically, your trees are basically just straight lines, a vertical. It doesn't have to be ruler straight, but basically like it breaks up your color. Now you can immediately see there's a sense of depth here. And if you want to put more detail to your tree, just pick your base of the tree, the roots, yeah, a little bit bigger. So you got your trees. And I'm going to just add on here as I go towards the right. And you notice that as you go towards the right, the tree becomes thicker, yeah? All right. You can start painting in your trees right now, just top to bottom. I'm going to add one more tree here. Like I said, you mix blue and red, you get purple. That one can be your base color. This color is darker than the background anyway, so you can actually see your tree quite clearly. And just paint your trees. Later on, you're going to put highlights on your tree so that your tree becomes three-dimensional. Okay, you may go ahead and do your trees. Blue and red, yeah, just remember that is your dark color. We don't talk about black here, it's just dark color. It can be purple, it can be purplish, it's a little bit brownish. In fact, brown is what you get after you add yellow to purple. Okay, I'm just gonna make this a little bit clearer. At the moment, because everything is dark, so you won't see quite that clearly yet. Okay, I'm just gonna make this particular tree a little bit thicker because it's nearer. I can bring it down to here. So there are two things you are doing here that makes your tree look like they're in perspective. Number one is you're making them smaller as they are going further, and at the same time, what you're doing, you're also starting your tree a little bit lower as you come down. This line on the right hand side guides you. Yeah, this one. You start just behind this line. Yeah, the last tree I'm going to add is from here. You notice it's actually lower than this tree. The biggest one is here. I'm going to just add one more tree here, and that's your tree for now. Just remember, blue and red. That gives you purple, which is actually pretty good. I'm not going to mix with water here because this is a big tree. I need a lot of paint. Okay, I'm going to just paint this. It bends a bit, is okay because it's quite natural. It bends a bit is all right. I got to make it because right now it looks like this is thinner than the one next to it. So I'm going to make this tree on the right the biggest. And can be a lot thicker actually. So we have, in the space of the last 1 hour plus, we have actually built a forest without too much hassle. Now we're adding in the trees. Earlier on, you cannot see the trees for the forest. So now the forest is appearing. And simply by just adding blue and red. So that is your dark color. Blue and red. I'm going to make this guy a little bit thicker. So I have a thicker tree on the right. So what you would have done by the end of the two hour is you put in a very basic painting of the scene that you have. In any event, you can actually make it a lot more detailed, but basically it's all a matter of adding time and putting in what you have learned today about mixing of color. After this, you're going to learn a little bit more about detailing and highlighting the trees. And that would be something that you can actually do later on your own. The idea is to get you done with the basics. Okay, I'm just making this tree a little bit thicker. Okay, here we go. So the principle behind creating depth and roundness, for instance, in your tree is actually just by adding highlights later. Okay, the highlights are the things that take a lot of time. So you can see very thin lines in the far background. Actually, if you want to add depth, yeah, you can actually even add. I'm going to add a little bit more thin lines here. Like for instance, I can add a few more thinner trees. Hang on, I got to add in some water. For thin trees, I need to add in more water, so that the ink flows. And try and make sure your brush is very tapered, yeah, so easier there. So we got some thinner trees. You can add some here, but not very visible. But those could be further away. Okay, these are just suggestions of trees. Okay, I'm going to be moving from the right hand side to the left. Before I do that, let me just add in a bit more here. Okay, I'm going towards the left hand side right now. I realize that the left hand side has got thinner trees. I mean, it's quite normal in any kind of natural environment. The trees are not always the same age or size. Okay, so on the left hand side we can have we can add trees too, a lot thinner, but I need water for that. Yeah, you see the colors run out. Okay, I'm gonna add more water. So basically this helps you to, you can immediately see when I put in the trees, there's dimension to your painting. There's a lot of small trees here. There's nobody stopping you from adding big trees if you like, but basically the idea is to just add trees. So what you're creating here is actually vertical objects right now. Suddenly your whole painting takes on a new dimension. Look at that. I'm going to add a few more trees. If you like, you can make this a little bit thinner. And by thinner, you need to have maybe a little bit more water. Okay, so you have trees. There you go. More trees. Of course, you can have some trees that are a little bit more leaning towards the right or the left. It doesn't matter. As long as they are generally about the same direction, you're fine. I'm just going to add a few more trees. All right, see now. So these are all the vertical objects. We can add a few more actually, really. Let me just move this away. Trees. You realize that your trees in your reference is actually white. You're going to get to that afterwards, yeah, by adding white highlights to the trees. Yes, somebody dropped a bell.
Timeline is 11:15.
11:15. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Soundwave. You know, sometimes it's good to have a timer like that keeps you moving. Some people find it stressful, but it's also good to know how much time you have left, so you don't spend too much time on things that are not necessary at the moment. Because after this, what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how to highlight your tree. And when you do highlight, it's just a matter of repeating the same thing for everything. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you how to do it for one or two of the trees. Then you can do it for the rest. Okay, you also notice that as I go on, yeah, I try and make your trees a little bit shorter towards the horizon. It also helps you, yeah, to give it more depth. Of course, your reference has got quite tall trees, but I'm going to just make some of these trees in the horizon a little bit shorter and thinner, so that it gives you a lot more depth. Like I say, on the same principle of things that are further look a bit smaller. Smaller also means shorter, yeah, and thinner. See, I'm going to make this very thin. And don't forget, your trees actually, it doesn't have to continue all the way to the top. You know, they can break up, then continue, because the leaves will overlap. Later on, you're going to be adding a lot of overlapping leaves that will give it a lot more dimension. Okay, so now you can see slowly all your trees are converging in the center. 61 4. All right, here we go. Okay, I think we got a lot of the trees right now. Okay, we are ready to go into maybe before I go into highlighting the tree. I just want to add a little bit more detail to the two bushes in front. Yeah, this is actually quite far in front. But what I'm going to do is this. Let me see now. I hope you have a smaller brush than this one, yeah? Because that one will be very useful for highlights later. All right. Let me just add in some colors to this two bushes. So like I say, I try and work from back to front. So this one is at the back, and the one in the foreground is on the left. So I got to do this one here first. Okay. And to get your bushes, the same principle applies. I'm going to just make, maybe I use the other brush, you know, this one is easier for me to push colors around. All right. This brush is a little bit more for detailing. It's a bit soft. This one is a bit soft. This one is a bit hard. So this one it works harder when you use it to push colors. All right. So I'm going to use the same thing, yeah, blue and red, so that I get very dark color, purple. All right. And I'm going to just start plonking in the dark color. Okay, it blends in for the time being. It's okay. I'm just putting in the dark side first. Okay, just making it a little bit darker before I add in the highlights. So these are all the darker colors. It's a bluish, it's a reddish, whatever, it's purplish. Okay. So I will also do the same thing for this one here. I'm basically putting in the dark colors so that I can put in highlights after this. Okay, I'm just putting in something dark. These are all very basic techniques to create shapes. Shapes come about simply because of highlights that you put on top of shadows. In fact, what we are doing right now, we are putting in shadows before we do highlights. So this whole area is going to be quite dark to start with. Okay, here we go. So we already have this dark, very nice dark area. Okay, so now you have trees on the right, trees on the left, and this one I've actually darkened the shrubs in the center. Right. So I have generally a feeling of maybe light coming. Yes. Any question? No question. All right. You can ask question, you know, yeah, as we go along. Although I think I am keeping it very simple. All right. Now, I was talking to you earlier on about highlights. Yeah. You have to give your plants or your trees a sense of where the lighting is coming from. In this kind of situation, it's a little bit difficult to tell simply because it's quite ambiguous here. But what you can do is just to sometimes simplify matters by, if I were to actually look at the reference actually has a light coming in from the right hand side, because the right hand side seems to be brighter, and I'm talking about highlights for the tree at the moment. Yeah, by the way, you can do it with lights coming on from the right or from the left. Actually, is in this kind of situation is not very clear cut. But the moment you decide if it is going to be the left, it will be the left. If it's going to be right, it's going to be right. So earlier on, I was telling you the light is coming in from the left. Okay, so I'm going to stick with that. And let me just show you what I mean by that. Yeah. Uh, it is probably easier to see if I were to do it on the bigger tree, because smaller tree at the moment a bit difficult because it's very small. Yeah. What I want to do, I just want to show you a demo to you. It's easier to see when it's big. Okay. All right. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to use this is going to be a small brush, simply because later on when you go in teeny weeny areas like this, you need this small brush. Yeah. This is one of those, what do they call this, series number 7, but it's very thin. Yeah. Okay. If you have it, will be good. If you don't have it, you have to make do with what you got. Okay. I'm going to just do this right hand side first. Okay. Now this tree at the moment is all black. All right. So if the light is coming from the left towards the right, the highlight is going to be here. Let me just show you what it looks like. And also the highlight, we can use white, or you don't want to use too light at the moment. For starters, yeah, white should only be the very last bit. Yeah. What you want to do is to make the lighter side a little bit lighter than the background color. Okay, I'm just going to show you what it looks like. This is not white, by the way. This is just a lighter shade of whatever color you had earlier on. Then the moment I do that, you can see there's a little bit of, you can see the shape coming up. You can actually just pull down, okay? And the reason why I say don't use white at the moment is so that you can actually do things like this. Because white will be the last bit, yeah? And as I go down, you also realize that the tree is not evenly colored, yeah? The tree is not evenly colored. I'm just doing it because this is a bigger tree. I can afford to do this. Yeah, I'm just using my brush. The root area tends to be a little bit darker because of the maybe rain spatter. I don't know. Generally speaking, as the tree goes down, it's a little bit darker, the root area. So this highlight thing I'm creating is actually based on the blue and the red that makes it purple. Then I add in white. Yeah, so you can see the difference. This is the color I'm using. This is white. So there's a big difference. Yeah, so don't use white for the time being. White is only for you to lighten. Yeah, so I'm just going to build a little bit more highlight. You can do it patchy if you like. In the actual reference, what they are actually doing is they actually paint the texture of the tree, but with the size that you have, you probably cannot afford to do that. The texture of the tree is basically horizontal. If you look at it, yeah, the tree trunk and all that, they actually paint it horizontal like this, but you can actually do it vertical too, no problem. So what you're actually creating here is actually you compare this with what was earlier there. Look at this, yeah. Look at this. Compared to this, suddenly you can see the tree trunk taking shape. So I'm going to leave the right hand side a little bit dark, the original color. Let me dark, yeah. All right, so that you can see clearly. Yeah? Let me just bring down the phone. This is the reason why I don't tie a rubber band here. Okay, so take a look at this. Yeah. So what you're looking at, yeah. Take a look at this. Yeah. This one, the one I'm pointing in right now has got highlights. Compared to this, all these do not have highlights at the moment. Okay, so the moment I do this, your tree takes on textures, and you begin to get a feel of something that's cylindrical. All right. So in effect, what you will be doing eventually is you're going to replicate, yeah, the same thing, but as you go smaller and smaller, it has to be a bit smaller. Okay. Let me just put this back on the tripod. See, where are we? I hope it doesn't fall on me. Okay, now, all right. Let me see. Am I in the right direction? No, it's too far out. Hang on a bit, yeah. Okay. All these things are very delicate. Okay. So I'm gonna move the canvas back a bit. Okay, there we go. So you can see what happens the moment I add something light. This is not white, by the way. Yeah? This is not white. Yeah? This is a bit of white. You can add white as a last resort, yeah. But you can continue this whole thing. Let me just take you a little bit further. Okay, now using the same method again, I'm just going to do this. Take a look, yeah, so that the sense of lighting becomes a lot clearer. I'm just going to highlight this. Take a look, yeah. So in effect, things like this, yeah. You see me do it once here. You're going to replicate. Yeah, you're going to do the same thing here, even for plants on the left-hand side. So if you don't have time in the 2 hours, so what you're going to be doing later on is you basically going to replicate the same thing. This is what they call detailing. Slowly, yeah. Let's see what happens when I add in a bit lighter shade. It's not white. Yeah. I'm just adding white to the purplish mixture that I had, which is at the moment looks kind of brownish. Okay, see what happened? Okay. See. And as you go down towards the roots, maybe I add a bit more white. It's lighter. See? So these are the things that you need to do. So you're basically given right now a technique, yeah, that you can use to do things like this, which you're going to have to actually, like I say, replicate later on at your own leisure. Yeah, because there's no way you're going to put detail in for the full painting at this point. Yeah. So what you want to know is all the techniques. So suddenly you can say, oh, the trees are coming up. Okay, I have done this part, yeah. Let me just take you down a little bit further. And when you get smaller and smaller, it's a little bit more difficult to get detail. So you're gonna add water to the gray, but maybe because it's smaller, yeah, you may want to add more white so that it's easier to see. At the moment, if I use the same color, you cannot see it. Okay, I'm just gonna do it here. Not very clear. Oh boy, it's gonna be very thin. Okay. You find it a bit more difficult to see.
It's 11 a.m.
11:30. Ooh, okay, never mind. We're there. Right. See. Okay, so like I say, it's just a matter of replicating the same thing. But as you go down to the smaller trees, you have to exercise a lot more care. You pull it all the way up. There you go. You can see it clearer if I bring it down. Yeah, at the moment it's quite far. Hang on, let's see what happens. Yeah, it's quite interesting. See? Can you see that? You see? Like here, like this one. I'm just gonna show it to you so that you know how to replicate. Try and keep it as thin as you can. Just go. See? You see what happens there? Just continue. So the same thing here. And I'll show you what happens when you do it here so that later on, let's say you already got this. So what do you do? I'm just going to do one of this. But when you do it, just remember, be proportionate to the size of your tree. See, it's just a matter of replicating just a thin line there, you see. The moment you do that, the whole tree pops up. But you have a lot of trees here. Okay, you basically need to do it for one by one. Take your sweet time, don't rush. This is not something that you can rush. See, the moment you add, keep it to the left. Keep your highlights to the left. Okay, now I show you a little bit more what happens when you add more detail to the trees you have already done. Let me just see. Yeah, I can make it brighter, but progressively. You don't make everything bright at one go. This is just a brighter shade of this is just a brighter shade. Yeah. so that you get more, it gets more rounded. See, I can make it brighter there. Can you see? So there's actually a varying degree. I can add more, but like I said, it's going to take quite a while. Your main time that you're going to be spending will be on the highlights. That's basically. So what I've taken you through so far are just the basics of how to set up a scene like this. Okay, now we were talking about this, yeah? Okay, now this part is sufficiently dry. I'm going to leave you to do all your highlighting later, okay, for the trees, okay? Like you see, because the tree is quite thick, so you have more space to play with your highlights. But when the trees become thin, you only have a very thin line to work with. So I'm going to leave you with that for the time being. I'm going to take you to this side so that you can actually start adding in foreground detail. And that is the one that's going to kill a lot of people. Not kill, but basically it's like you have to spend a lot more time. You still can make it a lot brighter, yeah, but progressively. I'll go to that last. I'm going to take you to here. You have already got these few trees. Okay, let's get the bushes in the foreground. Remember, we made this area a little bit darker. Okay. Now we're going to add in highlights. Of course, the highlight is actually coming in from the left, but there's a lot of bounce light. But generally speaking, the light will be coming in from the left and from the top. Okay, so you have a dark area. I'm going to just start off with maybe add in a bit of orangey. Orangey you get from mixing yellow and red. And you realize that I'm actually using not a lot of color. I'm just going to dab this. Okay, dabbing. If you can rotate your brush even better. So what I'm creating is actually a sense of light coming in so that your shape begin to emerge. Because without this kind of highlight, your shape is going to be lost. You see what happened? I've already built your shadow. Now I'm actually building in the highlight, but my highlight is going to do at two levels. One is maybe not immediately. It's just a lighter shade from the shadow. And you'll notice I'm leaving a lot of let me just bring down the camera a bit more one more time so that you can see clearer. You realize I do not cover the entire area. I leave a lot of gaps in between the depths so that there's a sense of maybe texture. In fact, I can actually even do here right now just to build up. Because your paint at the moment, because of the lights, yeah, it's not showing up perfectly, but I think it's okay. Look, I'm just going to add in, I call this lighter shade. Is yellow and red at the moment. Yellow and red, so it's orange. And because the background is quite dark, so you have to apply a few rounds, but it's okay. You don't cover everything. What you're doing is you're just adding in strokes that make it look like there is leaf, and this brush is actually good for doing leaves. Okay, let me just see. Okay, all right, so I got that. Okay, now the next thing is, okay, I am going to mix, yeah. Just now I use a mixture of the yellow and red to get orange. I'm going to add a lot more yellow so that it becomes lighter. I probably need a lot more yellow than this. Okay, so it's actually here, the highlight for your bushes is actually yellow. I'm putting the yellow on top of what I already have. Like I said, it's not exactly the same position. It can be offset a little bit so that you can still get a bit of the orange. But the moment I add that, you can see the plants taking shape, the bush taking shape. You can see that. So the strongest highlight will be the top. You can't see it at the moment. Let me tilt the camera there. See? And that's what I'm doing. I'm just adding highlights to the highlights earlier on. So there's actually a varying degree of color. I'll just put it back to where it was. Okay, let's see. Okay, you can see these bushes sticking out now. Earlier on, you can't see very clearly. All right. Okay, now we have that. So you have quite a bit of work to do to build in the highlights for the tree. Okay, then later on we're gonna add more highlights. In fact, this one you can do now, right? And like I say, your white is only there to be used sparingly. Yeah, but you use a lot of this lighter color to create highlights. Let me see now. Okay, there you go. All right, now I'm going to spend a bit more time adding in the highlights. I need a bit more yellow though. Yeah. My yellow is almost gone. Okay. So through all this, you also realize you don't need a lot of color. Just maybe 1 spoon max. Okay, so here we go. So now I have the luxury of without doing the highlights. Yeah, I'm gonna just add in brighter areas just by adding in maybe I'm using raw right now from the tube. This is just yellow overlapping, and I can actually just use this to add in depth. Yeah, and just also remember your leaves. Yeah, all these colors are basically leaves can overlap your tree trunk. So when you do your tree trunk, it doesn't mean that you need to avoid touching it. Yeah, you can add in to give it more depth. Yeah, to give it more depth. Sometimes we just add in leaves like this. Yeah, the leaves can be yellow, it can be orange, but generally at this point, what we're doing is we're trying to make it lighter, so it can be orange. Yep, I can actually overlap this tree so that you can see there's it is behind the leaves. Same thing here. I can break up the tree trunk. You see, I can use red. So we have a lot of colors overlapping each other. So in effect, this is a very good way of creating layers and depth, so that your tree doesn't have to look like it's stuck onto your canvas. See, now I'm overlapping the tree trunk a bit, so that you can see the leaves floating in front of the tree trunk. I can add maybe a bit of leaves here. The same thing applies to the left and the right. So this is one of those things when you are doing finishing touches, you add things like this to add layers to the painting. Later on, what I'm going to do, I know at this moment we don't have time to do detailing on the leaves, on the trees. I'm going to actually just finish off later on. Yeah, I'm going to record that. I'm going to upload to you guys anyway, so that you can actually cross-refer later at your own leisure. At the moment, I'm just doing the main things that you can see, so that at least your painting looks pretty good at the moment. But like I said, it takes a while for the actual detail to be worked in. So I'm actually just roughing out blocking out all the main colors at the moment without too detail. I can add highlights anywhere, just add more color. So whatever colors you have laid down earlier on is served as a backdrop or background for you to add in detail later. So at the moment, if you ask me, is the painting complete? I would say no. But in terms of the instructions to you, I've already given you all the instructions how to get highlights, how to block out colors and how to add detail. Add detail is something you're going to be doing later on. All right, and see, I'm just playing with the color. So actually, it's a very good way to take it easy on a Saturday. Don't rush it. You find that a lot of nice paintings are things that you do at leisure. You are rushing it in the morning simply because, wow, we got a 2-hour window. We try and get most of it done. And like I say, the main lesson today is just how to put in the main colors, the main shapes. I'm just progressively adding more detail to what I have. In fact, this area, I'm just adding in maybe some bright spots. I'm adding a bit of white, not 100% white. I can add a bit of blue. So I'm just playing with the colors at the moment. So the earlier applications of the colors are just there to serve as a base. Yeah, I'm adding a bit of bluish white, maybe a bit green at the moment. See this bit, yeah. I'm just playing with the colors there. I'm adding in some bluish. So earlier on, it doesn't look so attractive, partly because, well, it's not properly. I call it properly calibrated yet. Well, what a word, calibrated. I'm just playing with colors at the moment. So I'm actually putting in colors into what I already had. These are basically just highlights, just adding volume. So you have actually, you can see actually right now, you have your background leaves, your horizon, your sky, everything done before your trees. Okay. Your trees is going to keep you busy for another few more hours at home. All right. So like I said, the basic instructions are all there. It's mainly for you to replicate it. Like they always say, good art takes time. So what you've done this morning is you've learned the basics. I'm just playing colors, and it can be quite amazing actually. The kind of things that you can do. You spare time later on, just adding colors. Yeah, I'm just adding in random colors. So in effect, whoa, okay. I'm just for the app. Let me use my teeny weeny brush. So when you are doing detailing, what is very important is to make sure that your brush is actually able to take detail. So it's always good to get a slightly better brush if you want. Yeah, this one is actually quite good. It's, what do you call this thing? It's called Winsor and Newton. Can you see it? Winsor and Newton. I don't know whether you can see it or not. Number 7. So this one is very nice for detail because you can actually make it very thin. Yeah, but because it's very thin, it takes you time. All right, like I say, comes a point when you actually sit down, do detailing. Let me see, now that we are almost all done. Not almost, still a long way, but I just want to show you what happens when I spend more time doing detailing. Yeah, I'm starting now. Now we already got this area. Yes, sound wave. Okay, so I got this area on the right hand side done. You realize that progressively I can make it more detailed by adding in. Now I'm going in with white. You know, now is the time to add in white. I can actually add in. Earlier on, I was just telling you about. You see, I can add any highlights like this. If you care to, you can actually do it. Let me just see if I can go close up. Yeah, a bit difficult to see. These are the things that you can actually do. Then I can actually just go If I use a dry brush, yeah, I can do this. So these are basically textures, yeah, you can build. This is actually for the hardcore detail OCD people. There's a couple of them here that will actually do this. I'm telling you that. Okay, there. This is where you get in the highlights. See. But you probably cannot do it for the smaller trees. But when you're close up like this, yeah, the bigger plants, you can actually do this because your trees, you can actually go in with a small brush. Basically, if you like, you can add some water. Then you can actually have quite a nice texture. See, I can add in details. Like I said, you can make the tree, give it more dimension by adding this. But it all takes time. That's all. You skip a few meals, you skip a few movies, you can do this. Yeah, you can see. Look, detailing. That's why sometimes when you look at certain paintings that really pop out at you, it's simply because they spend in time, they put in time. This one is mainly for my friend Chin Han. She's the one who is going to go very detailed. She's keeping very quiet right now. Never mind. Okay, now you can see the tree. See that? So imagine you're going to do the same thing for every tree. So it's quite easy to understand why it's going to take you time. See? Okay. I'm actually recording this on two devices. One is my phone. I'm recording it on the video too. So sometimes the a little bit different. So I got look what happened after I added that. Gee, look at that. So the highlights, I can do the same thing for this tree here. See what happens, yeah? See? So these are the things that will kill you. See what happens? Look, this tree is so rounded, yeah. So you can do the same thing. But like I say, for practical purposes, the smaller you get, the more difficult it is to do. So comes a point when it becomes counterproductive. You don't want to go to that kind of detail here. It's only in the foreground you can afford. You want to do a bit more, all right? But you see what happens when you add in little details like that. Oh, I think I'm getting carried away a bit here. Oh, it's so nice. Look at that. So this tree is coming up. So it's not only the trees that you can do detail with. You can also do detail with, like for instance, I can make certain areas in the background a bit brighter by adding, if it's yellow, let's see. Yellow alone sometimes doesn't cut it. So sometimes what you do is you need to add some white, because after a while the yellow disappears. So I'm gonna add in some like hot spots here and there. Yeah, this one will give you a sense that there's light coming in through the branches to the trees. Yeah. So you realize that I'm actually progressively adding in detail. Earlier lights are not so bright. Yeah. It's only when you sit down later on with the luxury of time, you can actually sit in and add. So you can see, oh, I am enjoying this. See, even this bluish thing I can add. I'm adding lighter blue, not white. Yeah, I'm adding lighter blue so that I can have I can have like streaks of light coming through the trees. So it's things like this that will eventually make or break your painting. Oh, by the way, this small teeny mini brush, yeah. This tiny little one alone is $28. 28 ringgit. Yeah, because the usual ones that you get in the shops, you pay probably $5 for 4 or 5 pieces. But when you really want detail, this is the one. The bigger ones not to me not so important, but the smaller detail brush is the one that you might want to spend some money on, because that's where you can get detail. But I suppose if you're learning just basics, detail doesn't matter at the beginning. But once you get the hang of it, you find that, of course, there's a reason why they charge higher for certain things. It's simply because the quality and different. There, I'm just adding in lights, lighter colors. See, haha, now it's nice. So the lesson today is just go simple, then go detail. So we got this done in that little window of 2 hours, not too bad. So take a look at this. I'm going to just put in hotspots. I'm going to add in more streaks of light. I'm going to add in little height. You see this left to right kind of highlights actually is quite important. It gives the sense of a level piece of land here. If this is like a hilly kind of thing, the light is going to go diagonally up if there's a slope. But because there's no slope on the right, you just continue the horizontal streaks. So there are lots of things like this that you can do to make your painting look better, to get a clearer message, you know, lights. You know, for those of you who have been painting for a while, there are certain paintings, if you like, you can actually suggest that we paint. I know somebody suggested painting their pet dog. But what I like to do is, if you would like to paint pet dog, now that one can be a bit more tricky because you got to be able to draw. Because online, I cannot teach you how to draw. Yeah. Unless you can draw on your own independently, then it's easy. But usually, I find animals, people, a little bit more tricky, and it's not something practical at the moment. That's why we are sticking to scenery at the moment. Okay, I think we are almost there. Then we spend a few minutes, look at some of the work. I'm actually enjoying this quite a fair bit. But like I say, this kind of thing tends to suck you in, and you'll be here for the next 5 hours without knowing it. And you're gonna miss your lunch, you're gonna miss your dinner, you're gonna miss all your appointments. Oh, by the way, for those who are interested, this one I don't know at the moment. We also run this kind of classes at our studio. Okay, if you're interested, let me know where they actually come to the studio and they actually paint. We have done a few so far. No casualty yet. Those who came survived. They are trying to organize a few more get-togethers like that where they. Some people prefer to paint it physically on site. Physically on site means you get a lot more interaction. Online is a little bit more, I would say, the word is detached. Yeah. So like I say, if you're interested, just pop me a line and just let me know. We're still running all these kind of online classes. Don't worry. In fact, there are a couple more coming up. In fact, we are running a few more with corporations and all that who want to run it for their staff, wants to run it for their customers and all that. But for those who are interested to come to the studio here, please let me know.
Where is your center?
My center is in PJ. This is in Paramount Garden.
Oh, that's nearby. Yeah.
That's nearby. Like I said, we're in the vicinity of Mas International School, you know.
Okay, yes.
We are just across the road, same, just
Alright.
face to face with the Mas.
All right.
So it's actually quite near. There are people actually coming in here.
It's a bungalow or a shop lot?
Bungalow. It's my house. It's my house. I have been here since 1994.
Oh, that'll be nice.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a very nice place actually. Kids will love this place.
Is it the one with the pool?
You can see the pool from outside, meh?
Last time you conducted classes and then
Yeah. It's one of those old houses with pool. It's got it's got a tree house. Not our tree house, but you can see the tree house from the pool side. It looks like our house. Actually, it's my neighbors. But all the kids come here, they think that's part of the venue. They say, oh no, you can go there and play in the pool, and then you can have some fun looking at the tree house. Cannot go in. But tree house is just behind us. The pool is for those people who have parties, kids. They have birthday parties. They come here and paint. After painting, they want to swim. So we let the kids swim because it's actually it's a very big pool for a house. It's still a working pool. It still runs, but nobody swims there because my children are already in Toronto. So people like us, we don't swim. Number one, we are scared of the cold. Cold water, very scary, you know, I tell you. Yeah? I only swim in lakes. I don't know how to swim in swimming pool.
but you do surfing, right?
I do surfing. Surfing is different from swimming. Surfing is you don't fall in the water. The last place I was surfing in the island, they spotted crocodiles. So now we are not going to the island until they catch a crocodile. So we are surfing in Port Klang. So like I say, it's going to take a while for people to get used to actually going to paint physically. So that's why at the moment we are still trying to organize classes like that. Probably 4, 5, 6 people. That's about it. Because people are very scared. Oh, you got so many people. Sometimes we got 20 old people. You know, but nowadays people very scared. That's why they are all online. Yeah, it's online. Most of them. I have my regular people. They say want to come, scared. Want to come, scared. Oh, you never mind, you wait, no. We also do, by the way, we also do what they call live sketching. Yeah, live sketching basically means we hire models. Yeah, for those of you put this a bit scary lah, because the models are all naked. So I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. Some of them are very young. Some of them are very old. So, but this, I mean, these are art line. So they come by and then they paint. In fact, right now they're arguing whether want to start or want to start. We have models already ready, but all the artists very scared. So I said, then you stay at home or what to do? I'm just right now while talking to you, I'm just adding color, adding. You see, that's what we do. We just sit down, tambah, put highlights, add things. That's the thing about art. Portrait painting, that one is a whole different ball game. I paint a lot of things, but portrait painting is not one of those easy to teach kind of thing. That's why when they run the when they run the live model class, there's no teaching involved. So they get the model, you come in, you draw, and you can watch other people draw because they are next to you. Oh, see, I'm adding. So the more detail you add, yeah, the more your painting comes alive. That's why I'm saying, look. So like I said, we can be doing this for another 3 hours. You're not finished one. But that's why I say it takes time. It takes a lot of patience, and I think it's a good time to actually check on all of you. Okay, now we are going to have a look at what all of you have done. Let me see now. Let me check. Anybody wants to show your painting?
I still got a white patch in the middle, no?
Got what in the middle?
The white patch.
The white patch in the middle can be white at the moment. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
What we need to do is to actually
Just leave it, huh?
yeah, leave it. Yeah.
Haven't yeah, I mean, still a lot to do, but I can show you now.
Yeah, can lah. The let me see now. I think I go with Claudine first, Claudine.
Okay.
Wow, this one kiasu lah, Singapore, the first to show. I say. See?
I haven't done the part yet.
What you need to do, yeah, Claudine? You know the horizon that you have, yeah? The horizon that you have is running over your bushes on the right. It should be behind your bush, yeah. So between your bush and your that orangey tree, on a bit more left. That area shouldn't be black.
Yeah, I know. I need to touch up lah.
Yeah, you need to touch up. Basically, because what you want to do is you want to remove the that sense of that white, not the straight line. Yeah.
Yeah, I went to the trees,
more detail. Yeah. So, like I say, you work from back to front, the furthest to the nearest. Then it's easier because right now you're doing your bushes in front, so your bushes overlap your dark area behind, and then you left the area that straight line on the horizon.
Yeah, it's very sharp, right?
A bit too sharp. So you need to soften it. Your trees, like I say, you need to take time to slowly do it.
Correct.
Because I know you're also very kanchong, very hurry, All right. Next one, let me see. That's Claudine. Next one, who want to show? Shopping, shopping. Where are you? Okay, shopping. I got to spotlight you, Okay. Whoa! Look at that. You got it. I think you. Yeah. I think generally you got it pretty good. Your trees are looking good. Okay, your separation between the road or the path. At the moment, I think the top area and the bottom area, maybe in between, you can blend it a bit because it's a bit too sharp. Maybe at the moment there's a line, not line lah. Maybe because you're adding a bit too much white to the area that's separating between the yellowish and the and the bluish. Actually, your bluish at the moment looks like a river, yeah. Yeah. If you like, you can change it to a river, you know. Yeah, continue the blue now. But I think in terms of your light and all that, you're almost all there. Only thing is you need to add in more detail highlights on the trees. Yeah. Okay. And generally you're good. All right. Thank you. I can see what Patsy. I can see you holding up. Wow. Your big canvas or small canvas?
16 by 22.
Oh, okay. That means you're a bit bigger lah. You're a bit bigger. Okay. You have got most of it, except for the your pathway. Maybe a bit too straight line on the right hand side.
Oh, okay.
They just try to remove those things that look too straight, and also your, let me see, maybe a bit more highlight on your foreground bushes.
Oh, yeah, definitely. That one, I'm not too happy about that.
Yeah. You take some time. Don't worry. All right. So I'm gonna leave you there. Good.
We'll touch up.
Touch up a bit. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
But
Pat.
some of the trees, Stan,
Yep.
some of the trees I see there's no highlight. Is it memang no highlight? Is it?
The highlight will be on the top left hand corner, but because your trees are above you, yeah. You won't catch too much highlight because they are above your point of vision. You can add some highlights to the background trees, but
can say all the trees or most of the trees will have that, right?
You can actually add the highlights on the floating leaves in the foreground.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Okay.
Right. Thank you, Patsy. The next one is Jolene. You want to show your work, Jolene? Come. Don't be shy lah.
Yeah, my one is very bad.
Don't worry lah. I say, why you very bad? This is a nice one. You show the whole picture. I cannot see half the painting. I
The
cannot
other
see
side
half.
ruined already.
No lah, sure. You know what you can do? You can add in your trees. At the moment, you haven't added in your trees. This is your first time, so not surprising lah. Okay, but I like the colors you have done. Only thing
Because
is maybe
I'm not enough. I don't. My tube is very small, so I know. I just have to take some green. No more tube. No more color.
yeah. Okay. All right. What I can do is maybe I can send you some where you can buy those placard that I use. That one big tub, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Where do you live?
Klang.
Oh, Klang. Oh, then no wonder lah. All my things are from PJ. So like I say, I think you just.
It's okay. Stan, from Klang, I got it from Shah Alam, actually from Pen Line. Oh,
yeah. Oh, that's Patsy.
Yes.
I tell you where you can get the placard. They also have a branch in Shah Alam. All right. Thank you, Jolene.
Oh, okay. Welcome.
Okay. Who is next? Yeah. Patsy. Patsy, you shown already or not, Patsy? Patsy shown already, yeah. The Paru, you want to show your work now?
Yeah.
Paru, come. Wow, see? Your daughter is going to be very proud of you, lah. Put up a bit higher. Okay, and you are painting on what? You are painting on paper. This one is.
I'm painting on acrylic paper.
Acrylic paper. Okay,
Yeah.
I thought, but still all right. I think you are looking pretty good. Like I say, I think at the end of the day, you need to get used to this idea of actually working from back to front. You still haven't added in maybe enough highlights. Your trees are already highlighted. You're very fast, huh? All right.
How can I improve? What can I add?
More highlights to maybe some of the trees. Your foreground bushes. Maybe your foreground bushes a bit too much, too bright.
Too bright. Okay.
Yeah, because it should be a little bit the highlight only on top of the bushes, because you are basically in the shadow, but you're catching some light from the top. That's all.
Okay. So I make the bottom part a bit darker.
Okay. Thank you, Paru. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Next one I want to do Ivy Ho.
Yeah,
Ivy Ho,
I
I'm
lost
glad.
my page. I don't know. I pressed something and I lost
No,
the page.
never mind what you do. No need to show the page. You can show me your painting, that's all.
Oh, I'll just show it to you.
Ah, like that can already. You have done a pretty good job for first time coming in.
Yeah.
And you push it back a bit. I cannot see the bottom of your painting.
It's all right.
Ah, okay. For first time coming in, you're very good. You have, I think you're just getting used to the method of working that we have. Yeah. And I'm glad you got in today,
I know. I
with
was
all
a
the
bit
link
worried.
and all that. So next time come in a bit earlier. 9:45 or 9:30, you can come in if you have problem. Then we can solve the problem before the class starts. Okay. Today, because you got lost a bit. But very good effort for first time, and this is only a 2-hour session. Yeah, by you have done a pretty good job for
I
2
think it's a
hours.
little bit red over here, right?
Yeah, it's okay. We can move things around. Like I said, you can actually play with the colors as you go in. Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let me see who else hasn't seen. Ivy Paru. Ah, Yuna. Good morning, Yuna.
Good morning.
Come. Show me what you've done. Don't be shy, lah. Don't be shy. Okay. All right. So basically, I think what you need to do is a bit more highlights on your trees. And also, I think your background color a bit light. Yeah. How come you use white? Your background color, do you use a lot of white?
Yeah.
I think you use white. Next time when you're doing this, try not to use white, because right now what's happening is your trees are standing out a little bit too strongly against the background. Because when you use white, everything becomes very faded. Yeah. When you use a color, just use let's say yellow. Just use yellow. Okay. You use white only when you're doing highlights. You understand? At the moment, I think you use too much white. All right. Thank you, Yuna. Let me see who else hasn't shown. Xiaoping.
Me.
Oh,
Me.
Kin Han. Kin Han, you keep quiet. I don't even know you're there. Come. Wow. See, you have got it. Very good. Only comment, yeah. Only comment is your that road, yeah. The sides of the road a little bit too straight at the moment.
Okay.
So try and minimize that straight line look.
Okay.
Yeah, I think in total, I think it came across pretty well.
Thank you.
Okay,
Stan, what color do I use for the bark of the tree? Because I was busy with something else, so I missed that part.
Okay, the bark
gray, is it? Gray.
The bark of the tree, you can actually use gray, which I get from mixing blue with red, which is purple.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks gray simply because it's a dark color, and you add in white, it becomes a little bit more. It looks like gray. Yeah.
Okay.
So you only use white for the extreme highlight, but for the intermediate color, you just use white mixed with that purplish look. It looks grayish, and you can get more detail. Like I was showing you earlier on, we can do very detailed strokes, horizontal strokes, just to give it that sense of roundness. You know, on the tree.
Okay.
I know you like to spend a lot of time doing that, so you can
No,
do that later.
Actually, I'm trying to not to be so anal. Okay, thanks.
Okay. Who else hasn't seen? Rachel Tan, have you shown? Rachel Tan has disappeared. I can't. Wait, Rachel not responding to me. Never mind. Xiaoping, have you shown your work, Xiaoping? Xiaoping, where are you, Xiaoping? I can see you. Come see your work. Come see your work. Wow. Hey, look at that. You got it, yeah. And you have even put in so much highlight on your tree already. The only thing, only comment I have for you, I think your scenery is pretty good. You need to work a little bit more on the root area, the point where your tree meet the ground. Maybe you need to do a little bit more work on that area. And the other thing is that pathway at the moment you still have a lot of it looks a bit too straight, yeah, on the left and the right. Aside from that, your scenery is coming out very well. Okay, thank you, Xiaoping. Okay, Xiaoping. Let me see who else missing. Rachel is missing. Don't want to talk. Who else missing? Yeah. Stacy, Michael, you want to show something? Stacy always hide on. Rachel, do want to show. All right. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to just add in more details later, and I will see you guys next week, hopefully. If you have any ideas for painting that you like to do, you can share with me. And if it's something that I think everybody may want to do, I'll just feature it. Okay. And I think Hansha has left. Hansha very in a big hurry. Oh, is he locked out? Don't know. Let me see. Everybody is here. So I'll talk to you again. Okay, I'm going back to add more detail, and I will post it online in the next 2 days. Okay, I hope you all have a very good time. Thank you so much for joining us. Okay, bye-bye.